This is your favorite associate dean on the planet. I say ever so humbly. Anyway, just kidding. This is Dr. Jeff Sarnik, and I will be going off camera soon, so don't worry. But nonetheless, this is another one of our very successful series, and it's had a number of titles, but it really focuses on professionals in the system, and most notably, women who have become successful as criminal justice professionals. So today, we're very, very, very fortunate to have with us one of our best instructors. We don't have to go looking too far for great people because they do teach here with us. This is Professor Mo Oglesby, and she's been with us for quite some time, and we love having her here. And the students just absolutely adore her. She's a great instructor and a great professional. So what she's going to tell all of you about, how she got where she is and what kind of astute advice and counsel that she can offer. So welcome, Mo, and if you don't mind, a little bit of background on yourself. Let your light shine. The students would love to hear from the beginning to the end. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Dr. Cernak. I'm so glad to be here today. And one thing I realized in my first blush with academia is that many students feel like the professors and senior staff just lived the perfect life. I mean, they had a great background. Nothing ever was a challenge. And I want you to know that we didn't. We're just as human as you are. We've had challenges. We've had many things come up. But the one thing I will tell you is we had great goals and we never, ever gave up on them. And I don't want you to give up on yours. One of the major keys in my life has been resilience. If you ever take emergency management, you'll hear all about resilience because it's major. And don't be afraid to challenge yourself, and don't be afraid to have to reinvent yourself. These days, sometimes we do several times. After high school, I didn't go straight to college. There were a number of reasons that I didn't. But what I realized throughout my life was that I was always slightly intimidated by anyone that I knew that had their college degree. So as I go through my life today, you're going to hear where I was always trying to prove I was smart. And so I went into real estate development in my career. And of course, immediately I had to work toward getting my broker's license, not my sales license, but my broker's license. And a little bit later on, my boss came to me and he said, I'm going to buy some properties and we're going to manage them. We've developed them, so it should be a piece of cake. Well, it didn't take but a couple of weeks to figure out we had a lot to learn. And the first thing we had to learn was we did not know how to handle security, fires, criminal situations, all of those kind of things. So I started off achieving my shopping center, my certified shopping center manager certification. Now, I will tell you this just because I want you to know you can do it. All of these certifications took several years to get. They were not just study a book and go take your test. But and then later on, I received my certified property manager certification. But the first thing I did was I went over to the Dallas Police Department, the division closest to us, and I said, I don't know what to do with these things. And they were absolutely fabulous to me. They didn't put me down or anything. And I attended everything that they would let me attend because I wanted to learn to secure my properties. They even got me involved in the ASIS International Association, and that's the largest security association in the world. And I had a ball. But of course, I had to get that certified protection professional. All of these were still trying to prove to myself that I was smart because I didn't have my degree. Now, don't get me wrong, I was very successful and very happy during this time. I loved every minute of what I was doing. But in the old days, I came up in the old days where it was mostly men. And if you achieved your portfolio, which could be as many as 10 properties, to cash flow, they sold it and you were out of a job. Well, that happened to me 5 times, and I decided that red badge of courage, I was going to reinvent myself on the security side, because very few people were really into security. And I was in love with it. I became president of an organization called LEAPS, L-E-A-P-S, Law Enforcement and Private Security. And we taught security officers to be on target when the police arrived. We taught them to secure crime scenes. We taught them about gangs, many other subjects. But I wanted all the officers that we trained to be first class. And our organization received international recognition in 2004 for what we were doing through ASIS. And then my boss decided he would buy large multifamily complexes in very distressed areas, and we would rehab them to a first-class property. And so it'd be a nice place for people to live. Well, what we realized was that we were going to have to clean out all the high crime, because this was in the highest crime area of Dallas. And I enlisted a senior lieutenant and his cadre of off-duty officers, and they were incredible. And I worked with them about 3 nights a week because I was still in the office during the day, and I attended everything they would let me attend. I trained with the FBI Citizens Academy. I trained with the CERT, the Citizens Emergency Response Team. I trained with my local police Citizens Academy. And I trained with the Dallas Tactical Firearms Trainer. I'd been shooting since I was 14, but I had to make sure that I was really safe, because I knew that lieutenant, when we were patrolling together, was going to depend on me just like he would depend on another police officer. So I trained and trained and trained. And because of that, I was allowed to work armed in a bulletproof vest. And I took that responsibility very seriously. And believe it or not, they allowed me to fly in the helicopter unit, attend detail meetings for major events. I worked the events, and I attended police academy classes, and I taught LEAPS in the academy. And if you ever take my class in the Introduction to Criminal Justice, you'll hear about goodwill ambassadors. I was a goodwill ambassador. I hear my students talk about you have to be famous. Well, I wasn't the least bit famous, but I was a goodwill ambassador. And after 9/11, I went from division of the Dallas Police Department, and I taught groups why we did so well on 9/11. We were prepared, very prepared. And I also went in and I taught property managers, business groups, community leaders, things like, how do you make a proper 911 call? How do you do all these things to secure your property if you can't afford security? And certainly the police can't be there every time you need them. And the chief of police used to kid me all the time about I was the best trained civilian on his force. And I probably was, because I was the only one there all the time. But a little bit later on, I had the opportunity to go to work for the retired FBI special agent in charge of the Dallas field office. He had been there during 9/11. And he taught me anti-terrorism, pandemic training, hospital training, and active shooter training. We taught this all over the Metroplex. And I was able to work special events with the Dallas Police Department, the FBI, and the Secret Service. I was even allowed to meet Tom Ridge. I don't know if some of you remember him, Rudy Giuliani, and I got to meet Captain Sullenberger, who landed his aircraft on the Hudson River. I got to meet a number of really great people. Well, all this time, I'm still trying to get to my degree. And lo and behold, a very high up official in the Dallas Police Department told the president and vice president of Paul Quinn College that they needed to go find me. They were in the process of rebuilding the college, and it was almost from scratch. And he said, I can't recommend her, but she's the only person I would find. And they hired me that day. Well, the lieutenant laughed and said, okay, Mo, you've come face to face with your dream. Are you going to do it? He said, I've already called the academic advisor. Scared me to death. But this dream meant so much to me that although there were some incredible students that were following me closely, I managed to graduate as a valedictorian. And I share that only because I want you to know if a dream means that much to me, much to you, you can do it too. Now, Paul Quinn College is now a leading college in the United States in liberal arts. It's an HBCU, which is a historically Black college and university. And I had a ball there. And ironically, during the time I was there, I just fell in love with all the students. And I would always hear them say, now everybody better behave because Miss Mo's not going to put up with this. But if they needed a hug before a big test, they needed a quiet place to study, my conference table would fill up. They were all in there running up behind me, getting a hug so that they could go past that test. It was an incredible journey, and I finished my degree. And, excuse me, as I got closer to graduation, a young lady called me from SNU, and she said, you're going to need your master's degree. And I was really honored and taken back. And she called me about 2 weeks later, and I was hooked. And I went after my master's degree in the same way that I went after my bachelor's degree. I missed that 4.0 by just half a point. I was so bummed. But I received my master's from SNU in just to study cybersecurity. And I went up to graduation, and my advisor told me, she said, I think I can get you a 5-minute interview with Dr. Cernak. And believe me, I showed up, and he was so gracious. He gave me about 30 minutes. And all the time I was telling him how bad I wanted to teach for SNHU. And it is a tremendous honor in my life to be a part of your faculty. But I want you to know you can achieve your dreams.
Well, we love having you, Mo. Trust me.
Thank you. And the reason my closet door is open behind me is I have a vision wall that I look at every day. And one of the things I'll point out on there is I still want my PhD. I haven't figured out exactly how to get it monetarily, but it's on my vision wall, and I'm not going to give up. I'll look at everything in every way that I can.
I'll nag you. Don't worry about that. I'll nag you about it. I'll be a big pain for you, but yeah. Oh yeah.
I love it. But I want to leave all the students with several thoughts. Never, ever give up on your dream. Believe in yourself. Know you can do it. Somehow, some way, you can do it. It may take an extra hour of study, but you can do it. Keep your vision board and know that you can get there. And know, I also have on there, before I forget, traveling to Italy, which I'm going to do. And I try to learn something every day. And above all, I remind myself every morning when I come in here to this desk to be a great professor. And what I mean by great is touching all of your lives. Each one of you will need different things, but that's okay. That's my job, to be there for you in all the different ways that you need us. And remember, everybody at SNU is here for you, and make this the best time ever in your life. Thank you.
No, no, no. The thanks are all ours. Oh, that was, I mean, I'm speechless, to be honest with you. And I've had a number of these interviews, and there's a lot of common themes that you touched upon, which are really, truly inspirational. I mean, the level of grit and perseverance that you have, the fact that you drive everything with so much compassion, and you never, like you said, you never ever give up. That is beyond, and the thing about it is that's what happens. Students or whomever will just give up because they don't think they can do it, but they can. They're no, the way you're modeling, you know, progressive life of learning. And when you say,
Yes,
never stop learning, that is absolutely critical. So I am begging all of you students, in particular our women students who are in our program, and thank you for being here, model yourself after Professor Oglesby, model what she's done, and don't give up. Take it home with you, incorporate it into your daily life, get your vision boards out, whatever it takes, but you can do that. So on behalf of everyone here, everyone, well, thank you for all the work that you do, for number one, and thank you for taking the time to really just detail this extraordinary journey that you're still on,
I
because
am.
because you will get your PhD. I'm just letting you know. Okay.
I
It's
look every day.
well, we'll talk about that some more. But anyway, I'll let you go. I'm going to stop the recording, and this will be distributed to all the classrooms. And is it okay if the students contact you if they have any questions or they're seeking advice? Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Contact me on M Oglesby, Oglesby, at snhu.edu,
Yep.
or you can call me anytime on 214-500-7966, because my journey led me to believe we can all do it, but you can't give up.
Well, you know what? You can't top that. And thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And again, on behalf of everyone here at Southern New Hampshire University Global, all our criminal justice students and the faculty too, thank you, Mo. Have a wonderful week. And thanks again for doing this.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.